Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. I'm Charlie Perry, and today's guest is Candida Rose Baptista of Golden Rose Music. This woman has done amazing things. She's vocalist, musician, educator, let's see, author. I can go on and on. Mother, grandmother, great grandmother, uh, and one of our ambassadors of Cabo Verdean Americans all over the country. As she kind of gives us, let me see, what's it called? KabuMerikanu, I believe it was that you told me it was. What?
KabuMerikana, KabuMerikana.
Yeah, that's what it is. I can butcher up. I can butcher up a 3-syllable word. Never mind. So, welcome to the podcast again, and I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad that we can get this video of you. There's not too many. I try to encourage everyone that if you can put someone in your community on video, it's real important because as my generation, I wish I had so much video of the people that were in the community back then, and how priceless it could be. Now when you look for it, things are just kind of disappearing. It's just not there, and that goes for normal house videos to national networks that have old programs on. They just don't have the stuff. It's almost like the 70s and 80s was the worst kind of technical era. I mean, ever. I just totally, when I look for videos, like, I've been looking for stuff for Keithy Francis, our friend, right? I can't find it anywhere. How can he be on the national? He's on the world and national level when it came to track and field. And when I try to search and find things, can't find it. But anyways, we're going to get back to Candida Rose and Baptista. I just always amazed and watching you from afar and enjoying things that you're doing, because if you didn't do it, there's very limited amount of people that are doing things. And when it comes to Cabo Verdean music, and so I'm glad that you have stepped forward and don't have a problem grabbing that mic and singing a song or two.
That's never been my problem, Charlie.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Don't be stunned. I'm glad you're not shy. I'm actually just
used to be. I used to be. Those we know that I used to be.
I think we all have,
Well, first, before I just continue, because you know me, I can run my mouth forever. But first, I just want to say thank you to you, Charlie, for number one, allowing me to come onto your program again.
Yeah, thank you.
Just thanking you for the support that you give, not only to me, but just to others in our community who are doing what we do, and having to being able to have a platform to talk about the stuff that we're doing is really important. So you're doing really important work for us as well, and being able, like you said, being able to document this so folks can come back and find things later on. I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing, and that you've done for a while, and you continue to do so. Thank you to you. Kudos to you for all the work that you do.
I got to do it, and I think it's very important that people in our community do it, especially WNB1 radio, and B-Mags, Margarita Graham, and all the things they're doing. I'm glad the station is located downtown New Bedford, Mass.
Yes,
because now it's just walking distance, and between their podcast, the music, the wall, which is fabulous, where someone like you can go upstairs in the radio station and record live on the radio and just kind of broadcast your vocalists out there, your vocals out there, and it's live on the radio. And the one thing that I like it about that is that they have pictures, everything. So it's there. It's and there's no reason why this community can't say they can't get on the air or they can't do a podcast because everything's right here. It's here. So, but
well, that's my dreams. I'll tell you, one of my dreams of all the different things that I want to do before I transition to another place, to another plane, I would love to do a radio show because I do, because it's Cabo Verdean music, it's jazz, it's R&B. I even, because of the nursing home stuff that I do, like nursing homes and assisted living, and the senior centers, and because of that stuff, I mean, there's so many songs that I sing on a regular basis that people would look at me and like, well, you're singing those songs too? I'm like, yeah, because I have to. I love, and just learning some of these songs and some of the older songs. So I have a sort of myriad of types of songs and types of hi, Michael.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you, Michael.
There's another gentleman doing his shows,
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I've been on his show several times too. I just love you guys.
Thank you.
So I have a myriad of types of music that I can play that people would not, gospel, spiritual music, just all these different kinds of things that I would just kind of throw out there just to say, hey, check this out. You might not have heard this before, but check it out. Anyway, but yeah, that's one of my dreams is to hi Nathan, how are you? How's it going?
He says it's the first he finally heard you sing in English.
Yeah, when was that? We were somewhere and I sang something. I don't even remember what it was that I sang. And he was like, yeah, I never heard you sing in English before. But that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like some people, depending on where you catch me, right? Some people have never heard me sing in English because they always catch me in the Cabo Verdean realm. Some people have never heard me sing in Creole because they always catch me in the American realm. Some people have never heard me sing gospel because they always heard me do R&B. Some people have never heard me do R&B because they've only heard me do gospel, or they've only heard me do Cabo Verdean music, or some people have never heard me sing crazy because that's not something you would expect from me, but I do. So, Elvis Presley, I tell people sometimes I sing everything from Patsy Cline to Elvis Presley to Stevie Wonder, sometimes all in the same set. So,
Since you're doing all that, who's your manager? Who books all these things?
You know what? God is my manager, right?
Okay. All right. I didn't want to leave anybody out. I want to make sure that people get credit where credit's due, and booking and doing all that stuff is very, very important.
Hi, Butch.
Yeah, old Bay Village kid there. Butchie, nice. I love you, man. Always supporting the Really Charlie podcast. So the I want to talk about something that is really dear to us, and it's our Cape Verdean heritage, right? We, we're very proud of it, and over this past year or past few months, you've been doing something, to get something officially named in the city, and that's the Cape Verdean Cape Verdean Heritage Month.
Cabo Verdean Heritage Month.
Cabo Verdean. And that's important that you said that, because I'm trying to make sure that, we do, it's official. It's Cabo Verde. It's official. So we need to kind of make sure that we are doing things and pronouncing it and saying it the right way, because if we don't do it, others won't follow. And it's very, very important that we do. So let's talk about the initial stages of introducing the month to the administration of the city of New Bedford, Mayor Mitchell, and how What kind of process? Start that process with me. What you did and who was involved.
Oh goodness. All right. So so the process really started back in, I want to say 21, end of 21 into 22.
So
I
gee, a
was,
little bit longer than I knew. I knew.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So the whole thing started, and I'll tell you, so I had applied for a residency. So I was doing an artist in residency program at the New Bedford Whaling National Historical Park. I always get that
Mhm.
mixed up. It's you know where I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
I
Yes.
had a residency at the park, and I was applying for the residency. And as in my application, I have talked about the fact that this was something that I wanted to do. And in addition to working on my book, the booklet that I had, making it into a book, that was one thing I was wanting to work on. I wanted to figure out how to bring all of the different organizations that are working on, Cabo Verdean or organizations of color, NAACP, with the Historical Society. How can we all come together to make July a full month of Cabo Verdean heritage? And so that was sort of in my application. I asked how we could do that. Could they help me with that kind of thing? And so when I got approved, when I was approved for the residency, which happened between July and September of 2022, I had already also had a conversation, and I won't forget this. I had a conversation with Brian Gomes at the time on December 31st at Stop and Shop on New Year's Eve, and said, I was approved for this residency. This is something I want to talk about. How do we do this? What do we do? And so that kind of started. That's where the process started, right? So it started with a conversation with him, my getting into the residency. And then just as I was doing the residency, I started talking to people like Ivan Brito, who then was, I believe at the time, was the president of the Recognition Committee. I get them all confused. So I apologize if I'm getting the getting the organization and the person wrong, right? Okay, so
he always holds a different title, so.
So so I spoke to Ivan. I was talking to Ivan. I was talking to Darlene Spencer of the CVAMB. I was just talking to different people. Ron Barbosa. I talked to Jean Montero. I talked to Diane Gomes. I talked to just different people about this idea of, Cabo Verdean Heritage Month while I was doing the residency. I had written letters to different people, and finally, thanks to Brian, he was able to get me a meeting with the Appointments and Briefings Committee, and that happened after the residency. So we started the process during the residency, but after the residency in November of 2022, I was able to actually go in front of the Appointments and Briefings Committee, along with Margot Saulnier of New Bedford Creative, and with Ashley Payne of New Bedford Tourism, to talk about why is it so important to have Cabo Verdean Heritage Month in New Bedford. And I talked about the fact that that New Bedford is really the cradle of Cabo Verdean American history. And who better, what place better? I mean, I understand that, Brockton has come up in terms of, Cape Verdean population, Pawtucket as well. But, aside from, some of the folks that came first to like Nantucket, for instance, New Bedford was really where the influx of people came in. And if you ever talk to Ron Barbosa, he'll call, New Bedford the Ellis Island of Cape Verde. Right? And so, because we held that crown, right, for so long, right, and the people who we stand on, the shoulders who we stand on, the folks from the Cape Verdean Census Committee that started all of this, they worked so hard for us to hold on to that. And so at that time we were, let's see, was it 2022, you know, we were starting to look at the 50 years, right? We hadn't gotten there yet, but we were looking at 50 years. And, you know, wouldn't it be wonderful to that by the time we get to 50 years, we have this established. So when in front of the city council, of course, they unanimously agreed that this would be a good thing, but what would it look like? So they charged us with, okay, can you come back and, you know, what would a Cabo Verdean Heritage Month in New Bedford look like? We already have the week, right? The committee has done an amazing job over the last 50 some odd years now it's over 53 years with the week and, you know, scholarship committee events that they do, and the parade and the flag raising and all the different things that they've done. So we know what the week, you know, this week always looks like, but what would the rest of the month look like? And so we were tasked with that. So I started having meetings with different people. And Renee Ledbetter was part of it. My cousin Cecilia from Celia's Boutique was part of it. And I'm gonna miss names, I'm sure, but there was a sort of a series of meetings that I started having with all of these different people. But you know, life be lifing, as my daughter will say. Life be lifing. And
I like that.
Right, life be lifing. And so, you know, the ball got dropped a little bit. And then, you know, I think it was Margaret that said, you know, we got to get back on this, you know, because the 50 years, like a year went by, a year and a half went by, and it's like 50 years, the 50-year anniversary is coming. We need to, you know, get back on this. And
you mentioned Margaret. I think she deserves a shout out because she's been she came back home and she's been really trying to get involved and do many things. So I'm glad you mentioned that name.
Well, yeah, she was. So I've talked to her a little bit about all of this, but who I was really talking about was Margot Saulnier from New Bedford.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, don't be sorry, because it's like, you know, everybody plays a part. Yes, you know, plays a part in all of this. And so Margot was the one who was pushing me a little bit, and it's like, we need to get back on this, and so we sort of restarted the effort again with sending out letters, sending out emails. All the people that were on my original email list, I sent them saying we're going to get this going again. And people came together, and we started, I think it was in November, looking at this calendar, looking at, okay, can we get what we wanted to do initially for this first year is just be able to pull things together, right? So we the recognition committee, the recognition week, what else do we have that's out there? Are there any other organizations doing stuff during July that we need to support? You know, so it's really just supporting each other, amplifying what's already there. So we pulled out a calendar and started writing down, you know, trying to get to people like, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And if you don't know what you're doing yet, please make sure that you let us know what you're doing so that we can try to get this calendar going. And we worked with, again, Ashley Payne of the tourism department, and she ended up helping us build out a calendar under the sort of the Explore New Bedford umbrella for Cabo Verdean Heritage Month. And so we ended up going up in front of the council again in March of this year, either February or March of this year, and showed them what we had started to come up with, let them know who we were reaching out to, what organizations that we were reaching out to help us build this out, what organizations. And when we actually went back up, there were at least 20 different people from the community that were there supporting this effort, which was a beautiful thing. And again, they said, you know, this is a great idea. Let's go on. Let's do this. So I want to take this opportunity to say, we know the phrase, it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a village to raise a child, right? We are Bay Village. Those of us who grew up in Bay Village at all know that, it takes a village to grow anything. It really does.
Exactly.
And even this effort, right? This is a joint effort with so many different people adding their thoughts and their ideas, their events, and it's Ruby Erickson. I have to say, give a shout out to Ruby Erickson. She, has come into our community and has been a force, particularly with me, to help me get a lot of things going. She's been the secretary for the coalition. So what we did is we built out this Cabo Verdean Heritage Month coalition, and it was really the coalition's sort of charge to figure out what would this month look like, and so we did the calendar. We've got stuff on the calendar. When what we're hoping to is that once we get past this year, to get people to continue to come together from all the different organizations. My hope, my thought, my dream is to get at least one or two representatives from all of the different organizations, and not only from the organizations, but just people, just individuals, like just people who care about the culture and care about what we're doing. Because it's not just about the music, right? It's not just about the entertainment. It's not just what we give to the world as far as entertainment and art, but also, literary contributions, military contributions, scientific contributions, medical contributions. I mean, there's so much that people don't know about Cabo Verdeans and what we've done and what we're doing. And so that's why, you can't get it all done in a week, and one organization can't do it all in a week. But if we do it all together, and we have this time to do it in, then we can walk together. Our theme is juntament, and I don't know if you've heard that phrase, but juntament means hands together, basically, or bringing your hands together and walking together. And that's a concept that actually comes from Cabo Verde. It's a concept that, the work isn't done until we all have done the work. And if somebody for some reason is having trouble getting the work done, then everybody comes together to help that person or those people get the work done. It's walking together. It's moving together as one body, right? And so, we're stronger. We're stronger as a team. We're stronger as a group. I can do something here, and you can do something there, and somebody else can do something there. But when we're doing all of our things together, we're stronger. And so that's why we've kind of built this out. And so I know that's a long way to talk about the process, but
no, I get it. I'm glad that you had mentioned about, trying to fill in the blanks, or the calendar with everybody, with all kind of people, because what happens and what's been happening is that there's a core of people that are jumping all over the place, where they have 5 titles, 5 different organizations, and it becomes overwhelming. So when you get other groups involved, and you're able to fill in the calendar and come up with some other ideas to bring to the community during this month, it becomes a whole lot easier. You and many, many others shouldn't be exhausted because you're trying to do a good thing. and so many good things get you exhausted because you don't know how to you don't know how to say no, and you don't want to let anybody get down. You don't want to let anybody down. So I get it, and I'm glad to hear that there's so many others involved. It's very, very important.
Yeah, like I said, it takes a village. It's it's not always easy, but it we can do it. It can we can do it. So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So the ending of all this, well, not the ending, actually the beginning. Really,
Yeah.
that what date was it? I know again it was in March or was it in April that it actually went through. So it went through. So we went to the appointments and briefings, and then there was a city council meeting. I think it was 2 weeks after that sort of the city council took the vote. I guess that's how that works.
Mhm.
They take a vote to say yes, this is what's going to happen, and then the mayor does his thing, and
Yeah.
and so it was officially announced the day of the oh,
Flag raising, right?
thank you, Prima. So it was officially announced the day of the flag raising, that July is also July does not take the month does not take the place of the week, right? I want everybody to understand that we're not superseding the week. All we're doing is adding to the week.
Yes.
We're just bolstering the week. We're growing it so that it's the whole month. And we just have to figure out, continue to figure out what to do with the rest of the time. Right? Whether it's doing something, a thing here during every week or doing something during the weekend, how do we connect with other places that are already doing stuff and making sure that we're not overlapping too much, not only overlapping ourselves, but overlapping, with other regional things. Because there's so much that we do, but we don't know they're doing it. And so what happens is someone schedules something here, and then someone schedules something at the same time. And now everybody wants to go to both things, but you can't go to both things because, you can't be in two places at the same time. So how do you mitigate that overlapping? It's never going to happen. It's never going to be totally like, doing something, it's never going to be totally where things aren't going to overlap. I mean, that's unrealistic. But
we only get a small amount of time, especially in the summer.
But at least you know what's happening, right? If you have at least the awareness that okay, Charlie's doing something on the second Saturday of the month from 9 to 1. Okay, maybe I can use that same Saturday, but I do it from 2 to 5. And then maybe somebody else says, well, I gotta use the same day, but I'll do it from 6 to 10, right? So then maybe it's staggered so that we're not all doing something at the same time. What is your main issue? What is your main objective? So I think the main objective is to continue to educate people just in general, ourselves included, right? About the amazingness of our culture, right? And giving us a chance to really show who we are, who we've been, and who we are continuing to be. A lot of people, even in New England, like you'd be surprised to know that there are places even in New England that don't know about Cabo Verde and Cabo Verdean American history.
So true.
That's unacceptable, in my opinion. That's, in my humble opinion, that's unacceptable. And so, if we start, we're starting here in New Bedford, and I believe that there is also a Cabo Verdean Heritage Month in Boston, and I believe that Falmouth just announced something for Cabo Verdean Heritage Month as well too. So if we can continue to sort of grow that, the awareness of, there's a whole month to celebrate and to understand and to know more, then more people will start hearing. Like my mission is just, if I can teach one person in, a place that has never heard about Cabo Verde before, and they hear the name Cape Verde, Cabo Verde, or Cape Verdeans, they can say, they hadn't heard before, but that I've taught them, or you've taught them, or somebody else has gone to them and they've heard something about it. They can say, yeah, I heard somebody talk about this. I haven't heard about it before, but these people have done a lot in our country. They've done a lot in our state. They've done a lot in our city. They've done a lot in our region. I didn't know anything about them, but I heard some people talking about them. That's my goal, to just get us taught, to get the city, state, region, country talking about Cape Verdeans. And
it's very, very important that we all take on that responsibility, just to spread it, just to spread the word, and Marie says, what she say, education is so important. But someone, let me put it on the screen here. Educational is so important, but someone has to manage the overall process. Executive board and at the state level is one way. Well, I definitely working in the school department. I know that they there's a huge amount of Cape Verdean teachers and paras, and they're really involved. They're really trying to do, especially when it comes to, years ago we called it bilingual, but the multi-language classes, they're really doing a lot. So, but when it comes to education, we're lacking in a lot of ways and a lot of areas for a lot of people, So it's not just the Cape Verdean. It's all over the place. So thank you, Marie. Lee Rocha says, hi, my people. And Paulo Paris says, educate and elevate the entire world, because the diaspora is literally everywhere. Yes. I mean, we are. It's just on my ancestry, I see so many people related to me, even if it's a small amount, but they're all over the place,
Nos espalhados no mundo. We are spread across the world.
Actually, yeah, we it's great. They now have this is on English to Creole dictionary. Yes, that's by Manuel Gonçalves. Yeah. So I have it, and now there's a second book which I want to get that one too. I also recommend that, when it comes to learning the little basics, our friend Josephine Tavares, as we call Jaffa, which she will be at the Verdean Vets Hall on the 30th.
Yes.
And so, I took her course during the winter.
Nice.
Learned some basics, and I was very, very happy to do it. I actually want to do it again, and then advance up to the advanced level. But I'd like to do it again with my grandchildren, and so hopefully I can do that when she starts the classes. I mean, it's only like 6 weeks. I think it is 4 to 6 weeks. It goes by quick, because I'm always looking forward to the podcast every week, where I look forward to her classes. And then you kind of sign on. It's a Zoom atmosphere. Everybody gets involved. It's awesome. So
yes. So what I wanted to say before I forgot is, so Jaffa, Josephine, and Dr. Donaldo Macedo. So they are our guests for the. It's interesting. It's the inaugural event for the Cabo Verdean Heritage Month Coalition, but it's like the closing event for the Cabo Verdean Heritage Month, and we will be having a I think we're calling it Language and Liberation, and it's a community conversation about language. And yes, Sleeping Hills are teachers from across the country today. Salute to John. Yeah, Joe Demore is doing some amazing work over in Pawtucket.
Yeah, he is. I have to get in touch with him real soon because I have some very information. I have some information that he needs to that I need to get to him so he can display in the museum. So I have to reach out to him.
And I wanted to also say, so like he's doing some really great work in Pawtucket with the Cape Verde the Cape Verdean Museum. And also Barbara Burgo is also doing some great work.
Falmouth, yes.
Falmouth with the Cape Cod Cape Verdean Museum and Cultural Center. And so both of them are doing really, really wonderful work in helping to preserve our history and our culture in their respective places. So it's really wonderful.
Yeah, and Marie, there are online courses. Kriola Basics. I will send it to your Facebook Messenger. I'll send it to you so you can look up with Jaffa. It's very, very, very highly recommended. And Frank Slaughter, I see you from Vegas, Las Vegas. Yeah, you know, Frank, my man, my good friend, doing some amazing things out there in Vegas. Let me see. I want to ask you one thing. I forgot. All right. So the committees, the committees on this committee for the month is actually is it something that's set in stone that, you know, the committee would commit themselves to a year or 2 years?
We have, so we are still very, very new. We're really fledgling at the moment. So we haven't really like talked about how, you know, the structure of how we're going to move forward, which is why we need people to to start working with us. We have a meeting actually tomorrow to finish talking about our event on the 30th, and then decide how we're going to move forward, probably in September, because I'm going to be away in August. But starting in September, how do we want to form this coalition? What do we, do we want? I don't know. There's so many questions. Like how many people do we want? How many, are there members? Are there full members? Is there a certain time frame? Is all of these different questions. So I can't answer that just yet. And we're still trying to. So maybe you can join and help us figure it out.
I get it. It's I'm always ready to help out. So the Frank Slaughter said he had your album still on high rotation on my iPhone, and sometimes I jam it in my car. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Not? You're the best. You are the best. Thank you. Yeah, Frank has always supported the work and supported the music, and I'm really excited that, thank you that you're still. Oh, thank you. And you too, Paolo. Thank you for the thank you always for being there and being supportive of everything. And I'm sending out the invitation because, like I said, we're still fledgling, right? There's still people sort of, it's fluxing in and fluxing out in terms of who's joining and who contributing. And I think everybody's voice is important, and because this is our culture. It's like it's ours, and this month is our month, and it'll be what we make it. It's not going to be what Candida Rose is going to make it. Although, like this month, I had a lot of stuff that I was doing that I happened to be doing in July. So, so when you look at when you look at the calendar, it's very heavy with Candida Rose stuff. but that's just the way things worked
No,
out.
you know what, and but you have to do it that right. It's first of all, you're dedicating some time of yours, which is very valuable. And I mean valuable because there's so many other places you can be. So if you can plug yourself in along that calendar, regardless of how many time it is during that month, then do it. Because you know what, it's very important, especially at the beginning stages. You don't want to leave day 24 to 28 unavailable or not used or occupied. So if you can fill in those dates, and so be it. I just think that uh, our stamina and our stamina can only last so long sometimes. We may have a good month, we may have a good week, but then we get tired and we need our rest. So if you have the energy to fill in the blanks, then do it.
And I also wanted to say to you, and just get out there. I'm sure that you've talked about this, but on this, so we actually have an event that we're working on the same day. So I have an event, and then you have an event like just right after mine. So I'm another one of my educational presentations through at the New Bedford Public Library on the 26th from 3 to 5, and then right after that at the Vault, there's an event that you're doing to fundraise for Monty's Park. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the U.S. Cape Verdean veteran, U.S. That's Joseph Monty, Purple Heart recipient, way back in World War One. So that's how far. And for him to get it during World War One is mind-boggling.
Major. That's major. A major. Absolutely.
So someone seen it, someone recognized him. There's there's thousands of people that should have got it during that time, but he did. And and to be Cape Verdean, wow.
That's major. So I say that to say, there are a couple of other events that are on the calendar. If anybody whoever's listening to this and you haven't had a chance to go to the explorenewbedford.org website yet, please do that to see what else is happening for the rest of the month. There's a brunch on the 27th that CVAMB is doing, and then, like I said, like the closing, the closing event on July 31st. I'm sorry, July 30th. July 30th. That the Cabo Verdean Heritage Month Coalition is doing. So there's still and there's I have another event that's happening actually on Thursday at Carlene's Place. I always say Carlene's Place is the Underground Railroad, Underground Railroad Cafe, and I'm actually going to be showing a. Thank you, Michelle.
My buddy, she's a beautiful woman. Her family has been a huge part of my life. And Michelle, thank you for joining us. But go ahead, Candida. I'm sorry.
So no, it's okay. So I'll be showing so there's a documentary that was done about my journey to Cabo Verde in 2016 when I did the research, when I was doing the research that led to my master's degree that led to the book that's out right now, that you talked about the last time I was on. And so we're showing the documentary and then doing a very sort of brief book presentation along with the documentary showing, and so all of those, there's still things happening rest of the month. Let's see. You have me thinking about creating a CV events page where folks can find out what is happening globally in the CV diaspora. Yes. That's yes, do it. Yeah. And I think it was interesting because when we started working on this calendar for New Bedford, of course, we started getting requests like, should we put the onset Cape Verdean Festival on there, or should we put the Harwich, Cape Verdean Festival on there, or should we put, what's happening in Falmouth? So what we wanted to do just to start with is we wanted to start with New Bedford so that we can really, get us, on board, right? Like get our community on board with this, and then hopefully, as a coalition, we can maybe start to think about, because I think that the calendar for Explore New Bedford is just for New Bedford, right? Mm-hmm. But as the Cabo Verdean Heritage Month Coalition grows and continues to figure out what our scope is going to be, I would love to have a regional calendar, that we know what date the Brockton Fair is happening, the Brockton Cape Verdean Fair is happening, the Providence Cape Verdean Independence celebration is happening, Onset Cape Verdean Festival is happening, the Harwich Cape Verdean Heritage is happening. Like if we have, so now we know what's happening during what I like to call Cape Verdean season, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe then we expand out from there and like, okay, what is happening in the Cape Verdean community regionally, but not only regionally, country-wise. Like there are Cape Verdeans in Atlanta, there are Cape Verdeans in Connecticut, there's Cape Verdeans in Southern California and in California. There's Cape Verdeans in South Carolina. There that's just in the United States, right? So and then that doesn't include all overseas, right? All the places in Holland and Paris and and all Amsterdam and all the other places in Portugal and all the Senegal and all the other places where countries. Mm-hmm. But so and we have one in Vegas. Yeah. Frank, are you going to start a Cape Verdean association in Vegas? You probably.
I wouldn't put it past them.
There's folks out there, right? There's folks
and I mean, regional is great, and but it all starts with some of the things that Paula was talking about. Paula creating a page and adding and then feeding that information through everyone that's invited to that page or sees it. So it's very, very important that that Candida Rose and your committee just focus on New Bedford like you're talking about, and that everybody else focus on the different pieces that they're doing, and then just get together, because I'm pretty sure that Miss Burgo in Falmouth is adding things about New Bedford in Falmouth. Jaffa and Roxbury, she's adding stuff. So we definitely have a huge population, and I think regional is definitely something that could happen. Mm-hmm. And but it's year one for you guys, and I just hope
year one. We have to start. We have to. My thing is that we have to. I wanted to start at home, right?
Yeah.
And, yes, of course, Maria, our cousin Maria is in Arizona. They were all over the place, right?
Yes,
but I wanted to. I really wanted for us to concentrate on home to start off with, because sometimes we don't always know who the other organizations are and what we're doing, right? I know a couple of different pockets, but there are more people out there doing work than we even know. And so if we can, I love, we had somebody when we went up in front of the city council, we had someone from the Biscuit Club, join us, right? And so like the Biscuit Club, the Band Club, the Vets, CVAMB, NAACP, businesses like Celia's Boutique, just the Historical Society. I mean, just all the different, I mean, and there's so many more that I'm not thinking of, I'm sure. But if all of us came together, right, and said, yeah, okay, this is what we're doing, but this is what we can do together. And how do we support each other as we're doing each thing, right? How do we support Charlie with his, with what he's doing? How do we support, Cecilia's boutique, right? How do we support her, right? As a community, how do we, just continuing to do that home? And then once we really figured out how do we do that for ourselves, then we can, that it's that concept of, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of the person in the next seat, right? You have to make sure you have your oxygen on before they put it on the person in the next seat. And so, I hoping that we are putting our oxygen on and really giving life to our Cape Verdean community, our culture here in New Bedford. And then once we really continue to give ourselves the oxygen that we need to continue to survive as the, Cabo Verdean cultural capital, right? And then we can, continue to spread it out, and spread out and bring in. And, there was, I always think about people like Gunga Tavares and Jeannie Costa, who had organizations like Common Threads. I don't know if you know Common Threads, that this same type of work, right? Like, what do we have in common, as opposed to what is different about us, but what do we have in common, particularly as a Cabo Verdean culture, right? What do we have that we know that we are one? We are one, right? We are one. We are one people. Yeah, we might speak differently. Yeah, we might look differently, but we are one people. So Common Threads will, address that many years ago. And then I remember Gunga also working on what I remember it being called a National Federation of Cabo Verdean organizations, right? So she was bringing, again, she was trying to bring people in from California, from Massachusetts, and okay, how do we, all of these organizations from across the country, how do we all work together? So, what we're doing, what the coalition is doing now, is not anything new. We're certainly, we're not reinventing the wheel, for sure. No one's trying to reinvent the wheel. What we're just trying to do is just trying to continue to strengthen the wheel, because we already have a strong wheel, but we just need to strengthen it even more.
Exactly.
To keep us going for the long haul. So, for the next 50 years, or maybe not even 50 years yet, but, let's not even think about 50 years. Let's think about the next year, right? How do we strengthen us going forward, just to, like, a year out? What do we want to do next year?
Yeah, sometimes we have generations, being young and old, that the only celebration that they have when it comes to Cabo Verde is the parade or something else, right? Just one item that they relate to. And there's so many other things they can do, like taking online courses, maybe listen to the music that you're singing. There's so many different things. But sometimes we go where so many of people have been put in black boxes, and they only see certain parts of the culture. And some are just Americanized, that they're not seeing that other part of their heritage or their family tree, where they're not looking at the many things of Cabo Verde, and they need to be educated. Not, I don't want to say ignorant, but they are. There's so much more that could be learned and taught, but sometimes we have just a small sprinkle of our culture that's being learned by people, and not, I would say that it's just a lack of not wanting to do it, or a lack of not getting taught how to do it, or how to celebrate your heritage. And so when you have a conversation with some people, they're very naive. You know, they don't know how many islands we have. Definitely don't know regions behind the change of the flag. They just have an argument about the changing of the flag and not knowing why it was changed. And so it's very important that, you know, we have so many of these things going on.
That's a wonderful thing about Jaffa, because when I went to one of her, I mean, I've known Jaffa for many years, and you know, when I just went to something recently that she did, and she did this whole it was like a trivia. It was like a Cape Verdean trivia, right? Like we're all proud of being Cape Verdean, and we're all proud of, you know, if we speak it, we were proud of that we can speak it and all these things. But how much do we really know? So she does this trivia thing, and you'd be surprised that, you know, a lot of us don't, you know, even someone like me who I boast about, you know, I've been researching, and, you know, I've got a master's degree and whatever. I still don't know a lot of stuff about our culture and our history and you know, who we are. I mean, there's so much to learn. And you know, having this opportunity, I think having a month, I mean, you know, we should really have a year, but I'll start off with, I'll take the month, right? I'll take the month. But you know, but having, and I also want to say this, is that one of the reasons that I wanted to be able to have this month and really start, you know, combining, you know, getting the organizations to really talk to each other and see what we can all do together, is that there's monies out there, right? Yep. We can bring into the city, and that's one of the things that Margaret Mott has been amazing at in terms of helping some of those monies come into the city, right? In terms of helping some of our organizations to get some of that pot, right? But there are monies that we can get to do some of the things that we do. And I have to say that I've been the stuff that I've been doing, a lot of the stuff that I've been doing this month has been funded by the New Bedford Cultural Council. I did something last night through the Wareham Cultural Council. I did something in Swansea recently through the Swansea Cultural Council, all, you know, with educating people about, you know, Cabo Verde and the musical connection between, you know, the Cabo Verde and the United States. You know, the New Bedford Creative, through the Wicked Cool Places. I got a Wicked Cool Places grant to do the events that I've been doing, that I did at the Vets on the 13th, at the Band Club on the 29th, and then again, you know, at Carlene's Place on the 24th. Those are all funded by different grants that I was able to get. And so, but if I'm getting them, others we can all get them together. Like
exactly,
others can get them as well. So it's just a matter of, you know, us talking to each other, of us working with each other and saying, okay, who knows how to do this? Who knows how to do that? Can we, you know, you've been able to do this. Can you help us be able to do this? And can we do this together? I mean, there's just so much that we can do as a community, right? You know, you hear that word, like, you know, unity is in community, right? Like, you know, you hear that phrase used a lot, right? So it's, how do we unify and make ourselves stronger together to do the things that we need to do? How do we go out? How do we get those funds together so that we can do stuff, bigger and better things? Were you part of, some of you out there might remember Hello Cabo Verde, that happened in 2011. Do you remember that, Charlie?
It sounds familiar, but I'm gonna have to say no right now.
Yeah, so there was a 3-day festival on the waterfront, and it was Cabo Verde everything. It was literature, it was art, it was music, it was showing videos about this, it was books about this, it was music from all of the islands, including the 11th island, which, you know, which I created. It was a 3-day thing that happened. I think it was like I want to say it was in maybe April of 2009. I could be wrong, but and it took a lot of work. It took a lot of people. It took a lot of time. It wasn't something that was done in a month or 2 months or 3 months. I think it was almost a whole year in the planning, and then like 6 months of really like, going at it. But it was a beautiful, beautiful event. People came from all over the place. And my vision, when I was started thinking about this, is I would love to see that again as one of the weekends. Maybe we can't do it next year or 2 years from now. Maybe we think about doing it in 2025 for the 55th. I mean, maybe we can do it. I don't know, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there as something that maybe we can do it again. Maybe I don't know when, but maybe we can do it again, because it was an amazing. And those of you who remember it will know that it was really an amazing 3 days. It was Friday night. It was Friday evening, it was Saturday and Sunday. It was just phenomenal. It was just phenomenal. We took over the water. We took over the waterfront.
It's good. Well, we're lumping that waterfront and working in the warehouses along that waterfront. So why can't we take it over?
That's right.
For 3 days.
That's right. Exactly.
Candida, we coming to a close, so I want to actually give you a minute or two to kind of anything you want to say, and then if we have to do another podcast, we'll definitely do that. So any last words on the Really Charlie podcast?
Yes. So first of all, I just want to say once again, thank you to all of you who have been listening, all of you who are out there who have been part of the Cabo Verdean Heritage Month Coalition in any way, shape, or form, whether you even just said something about it to somebody else, or whether you've been part of any of the meetings, back in 2021, 22, or in 2020, 2024, 25, or now. We do this together. And I think we just need to continue to walk together and celebrating our culture from the beautiful Cape Verdean week right on to Cabo Verdean Heritage Month. So thank you all. Thank you to my family, and thank you to everybody who's been supporting, and just me personally, and Golden Rose Music, supporting my music, supporting the book, supporting the merchandise that that been there, and supporting the KabuJazz ensemble, and just my family came out to Wareham last night to listen. So we can't do this by ourselves, and I can't do what I do in any capacity without people like you, Charlie. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do. I love you dearly. Thank you for who tuned in and who shared their thoughts. I can't remember everybody right now, but thank you all for sharing your thoughts. And again, family who are out there who are listening, and I love our culture. Viva Cabo Verde. And not to say that I don't love, being American. I love who I am. I love all the pieces of who I am. But I want people to know about our islands. I want everybody to know about Cabo Verde and how amazing they have been for the last 500 years and continue to be. So there you go.
Exactly. Candida, thank you for making my podcast a beautiful podcast tonight. I really, truly, truly appreciate everything that you're doing. And like I said, we can do this again. Anytime, you just let me know. My days are usually Tuesdays on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. But for you, if we have to do it on a certain day because of your busy schedule, just let me know and we'll set it up. All right.
I would love to come back again, because me, I have a lot to say. I'm certainly not that shy little girl that I used to be.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Has changed. I don't know. And Frank, thank you. You are so sweet. Thank you, Frank, my cousin.
Frank B. Slaughter, 5 stars. He's definitely a good person. Donna Grace, I see you. Thank you. Always supporting everything that I do, from my podcast to my poetry to my books. Donna, I really truly appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, and everyone here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Please go to the YouTube channel, Really Charlie Podcast. Please like and subscribe because I need it. And also, I'm starting a new page about my songwriting, so it'll be on Facebook.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Yes. He's got some amazing stuff. Yes. Oh, and can I also say,
Yep.
Oh, yeah, closing off, but CandidaRose.net, my website. I'm also on Facebook, Golden Rose Music, Candida Rose. I'm also on Instagram at Golden Rose Music. So check me out. Check out the music. Check out the work. And
awesome. Great stuff, everyone. Please check it out. Also, I'll be sharing everything that Candida is doing on the Really Charlie Podcast page on Facebook and on Instagram. So just follow that along, and everything Candida is doing, I try to put up there. All right, my good friend. Thank you, and you have a great night.
I love you, and tell Michelle
I said you too. Yeah, I will, and she's going to be calling you because they have a special order on the bracelet again. So
okay,
she'll be calling you probably tomorrow, I guess.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
You have a great day. All right.
Love you, Charlie.
Love you too. Bye-bye. All right, everyone. Thank you. I want to give a shout out to WNB1 Radio, 262 Union Street, New Bedford, Mass, downtown New Bedford. Also go to their website, WNB1, spell out the word 1.com, and check out the fabulous music, to the fabulous shows, podcast, doing great things. And reach out to Powers to Be, that's B Mags and Margarita Graham. If you want to be part of the radio station, just go to the website, WNB1.com. This is Charlie Perry of the Really Charlie Podcast, signing off. Take care. Love you all. God bless.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Sounds so true. Grab a chair, pour out a glass. Let's break